Welcome everybody to Productivity and Tea. I am joined here today by Jodi Silverman. I'm super excited to have her as a guest today because she brings a totally different perspective than some of the other guests that we've had, in that her specialty is about moms who dare, life transitions, empty nesters. It's a really cool, I want to say subpopulation or subtopic that we haven't really explored in depth, but I know is really relevant to a lot of our community. So I'll just take a moment to introduce myself for anybody who's new here. My name is Kelly Courtney. I'm the founder of D20 Theory, which is a lifestyle brand for busy, multi-passionate women who want to do all the things, wear all the hats, and in some ways be daring, as Jodi might describe them. So I am here to facilitate this conversation and this interview with Jodi. But if you have any other questions that you want to add for yourself, feel free to add them throughout our conversation. We're going to be talking about all things productivity, mindset, personal development, self-care, and a few other surprises thrown in there. So I will get started because we know this is productivity and tea is always a component of it. Tonight, I am drinking tea, which is not surprising. What I have in my cup tonight is called Mojito. It is a green tea from Sipology. And I know we usually have Melissa here to give a little explanation of what this tea is and why we chose it. She wasn't able to make it tonight, but she did provide me a description to share with all of you that is better than I could have written myself. So I am grateful for that. So shout out to Melissa when she gets to watch the recording here. So Melissa is our expert sipologist. She works with Sipology Tea, which has a lot of really great tea brands and tea types, I guess. And so we chose this one today, Mojito, because it's a mocktail inspired green tea. I didn't realize that was a tongue twister until I tried to say it. It is a great way to end a busy day. And this tea is loaded with mint and dried citrus rind. So it includes all the health benefits of a soothing green tea. And you can enjoy it either hot, which I have it today, or iced as a delightful little nightcap. So I know we're getting later in the evening here. Of course, it's summer. You don't always necessarily want hot tea when it's hot outside as well. If anybody is in the whole heat wave area of the country, which it seems to be, probably not looking for hot tea. I am a special exception. I will drink hot tea year round. I'll just turn up the air conditioning so I enjoy it. So that's what I'm drinking today. It's kind of a variation of a mint tea that I usually enjoy, but it has some of those other little citrus notes, which makes it really fun for summer and definitely a guilt-free, but also tasting indulgent type beverage for the evening. So I know I was looking in the chat. Jodi has seltzer with lime in my wine glass. All right, mix things up. We got a lot of water here, some fruit juice. That's all good too. I am a fan of all those things. You can't go wrong. Definitely want to stay hydrated, like I said, when it's so hot out like it is this week. Yeah. All right. Awesome. So we've got some tea. I will be sending out an email after this event for everybody who registered with a link to that. If I described it and you're like, I want that tea, that sounds great. You can check it out for yourself. And like I said, there's a bunch of other different types, different flavors of tea as well. So there's other mocktail inspired ones too, which is pretty cool. I just thought the Mojito would be fun.
It's you know what? I have to tell you, I'm not huge tea. I'm going to order that one.
It's really good. It's really good.
I like mint. I like mint anything. So I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, me too. I know mint's a little bit hit or miss for people. It can be a strong flavor, and sometimes you're just like, I already brushed my teeth. I don't need more mint today. And other times it's like, give me all the mint. It's great. So depending on where you are in that spectrum of loving or hating mint, it might or might not be for you. So awesome. So yeah, I will let you introduce yourself, Jodi. Just tell us all a little bit about who you are and what you do and what makes you multi-passionate, not just this is my day job, this is what I do, but the things that make you multi-passionate. What else you got going on?
This is good because, I have some friends here in the Zoom room that know my whole story, but maybe not the multi-passionate part. So for those that tune in for the replay and don't know me, I'm Jodi Silverman. I am a certified life coach, and I live to support the midlife mom. And I'm saying midlife first, and that's new for me because I usually say empty nest. Because when I'm finding from feedback from people and hearing people talk to me, midlife is where we are. And under midlife, just like we wear so many hats as moms, we also play so many roles in midlife. We're empty nesters, soon to be, possibly not yet, but going to be. We are the sandwich generation, caring for our older parents, navigating our adult children. We have menopause in there. We have all these life changes. So I serve to support the empty nest midlife woman in daring to discover, what's fulfilling for her in this next chapter. And I started a community called Moms Who Dare, and dare does not have to be a scary word. Dare is just my playful way of saying, stepping out of your comfort zone, trying different new things, to shake things up a bit, to get out of the mundane, to get unstuck. And if you are feeling like a loss for who am I now, if not a full-time mom, if not, a lawyer anymore, who am I now? Stepping out of your comfort zone, daring to try new things is a really great starting point to figuring that out. Because when you step out of your head and into the playful side of you and the doing new things, people an opportunity to show themselves. But as far as the multi-passionate part of me goes, I'm a community builder. I'm a tennis player. I am a coach. I love speaking. And what a lot of people don't know about me, Kelly, is as extroverted as I am, and I identify as an extrovert, and I'll go, I so love my alone time. And I knew I liked my alone time, but I didn't know how much I liked it until the pandemic hit. And I find that it's easy for me to be alone more, and I don't like it. It's uncomfortable because when I crave community. But as far as my multi-passionate, it really is all about community. I have friendships in all different areas of my life, and my family, I do things with family, but it's really about community, the wanting to be the mentor, the coach for women. And when I say that, it's sharing through my life journey. So I don't coach or mentor on anything that I haven't done, walked through, and experienced myself. And then the tennis piece is just non-negotiable. I talk to my knees every day. My knees won another year. And then I would add something. Well, that comes later. That comes with another conversation. But I'm also very passionate and interested in growing my spiritual side. Those, I really have gotten very much into my spiritual side with the angels and spirit guides. So I have all of these interests, and a big part of that is the learning and growing. So then I can bring what I learn and I grow to my community and to other communities like yours.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that last part is so important. It's like whatever you are right now, you can, like you said in the beginning, actually, dare to explore new things, find new parts about you that you might not have really explored before. But then tying that in at the very end of what you just said about learning and growing and also sharing, I can relate to that so much. I love pretty much anything you could teach me, learning and all that. Like if I can go to school forever and figure out how to still get a paycheck doing that, that would be great. But instead I watch a lot of documentaries and things like that. Yeah. But of course, when you keep all the knowledge inside your head, that's great for you. But when you have a connection to your community and whatever that means as far as community, because I know people define it differently, just like you define family differently sometimes.
Yeah.
It's about connecting with other people, having shared experiences. And one of the great things about these conversations at Productivity and Tea is that we learn new things about each other. We make different connections, and we also get to share some of that knowledge and, build community in a different way. So it's really fun. Thank you for sharing all of that.
No, yeah. I have to adjust my seat. Oh, I just went low. Okay.
And I'm going to add one more thing that I was thinking of while you were talking about, the different roles that you play and all of that. And, that some other women in your, especially like the community that you serve with midlife moms, you're talking about, caring for aging parents. Before we hit record today, we're talking about aging dogs and caring for them. That's part of it too. Dog moms, plant moms, there's the definition of mom and what it means to care for something or someone and be in that like caregiver role is so much bigger than I think a lot of us realized when we were younger. And I realize I'm still pretty young. So I've still got a lot to learn, but that's why I love these conversations.
No, but that was really important what you said, because we talk about being a mom, but a mom can look and feel like something. You could be an aunt and be a mother figure. We have a woman we have a membership, the Moms Who Double Dare is our membership. And Barbara is a mom of, little furry cat. She joined the membership because of what it's about. It's about community connection and personal growth and fun. And, anybody who's looking for that in any stage of life, any community would welcome you. But being a mom doesn't have to look and feel like, what we envision in a mom. So if it resonates with you that you are taking care of somebody and you're responsible for somebody else and you wear that hat in some way, all of what we just talked about falls under, the midlife chapter. There's a lot going on. I think it is our best ever chapter. It can be the best because we have all this experience, Kelly, that we have learned and been through and good, bad, and ugly. And now we get to like take all that experience and leave the whole caring what everybody else thinks about us, because right now we just don't really care about what you think about us. We're going to live our best life now. And it is so empowering. It's just so empowering. And that's why it's important for me when I saw so many of my friends telling me as we were sending our oldest kids out to go to college or wherever they were headed, oh, it's going to be horrible. And these were moms that still had a younger child left. I'm going to be crying for weeks and I'm not going to know what to do with them. I'm like, no, we're not. And I'm not saying we're not sad. I was sad. I came home after I dropped my daughter off. I sat in her room. I looked around and I got emotional and I'm like, okay. And what's next? Actually, how I got myself out of the sadness was when I looked around the room and I realized it was always going to be clean. Right?
That's great.
I don't know about your daughters.
You're finding the bright side right from the beginning. And that kind of leads me to my next question a little bit. Like with all the things you're doing and all the transitions that you've been through in your life while trying to support other women as well, how do you keep like a strong, positive mindset? It sounds like one of those things is trying to, snap out of things quickly, find that silver lining and latch onto that. But I'd love for you to elaborate a little bit more or correct me if I got that totally wrong.
No. You are hitting a sweet spot with me. And Shari here knows it too. Everybody who follows me knows, I talk a lot about resilience. I have a high level of resiliency. I have always been the glass is full, not even half full. The glass is full kind of kid. And let me clarify too, Kelly, that I've had bad things happen in my life, hard things. My parents got divorced when I was 13. Then they both got remarried. I like them now. But, going to two of your parents' weddings is not something that, you're born to do. So, the divorce, moving away from all my friends to start a high school that I knew nobody in, that was traumatic for me. Thank God Shari is one of the people that were in the high school that I knew. But I've always been somebody who's been able to be happy even when things are tough. And that always, I didn't always consciously wonder about it, but when I think back to it, I think, how was it that I was able to do this and feel this way even when this was happening? And I had in my adult life 3 family members, Sam, my husband Sam's, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, boom, 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 3 years in a row. We lost half my husband's family, 3 of the most incredible people in the world to me. And yet I still managed to get certified as a life coach during that time and build this community. And so to answer your question, I wanted to give you a little backstory on that, because people see what they want to see. I try and keep it real. I talk about when I have a hard day, but the truth is people probably look at me and think, oh, she's always happy. Everything's always good. And the truth is I have a really good life. I do. I am a happy person. Stuff happens to me too. So I started wondering about why was it that I was like this? So I started finding books about, positive psychology is a big part of this. It teaches you a lot. And I found a book by Martin Seligman, who is the founder of positive psychology, called Learned Optimism. Mm-hmm. And that was really my first book. The second book I read was called Happier Now, but Learned Optimism, that was it. And it talks about some people are born naturally happier, more optimistic. There's a genetic tendency there for optimism and happiness. And through research, which some of the women here are going to get a glimpse inside, because I just became a Happy for No Reason certified trainer, and there's a lot of research. The same thing with happiness. We all have this happiness set point. And part of it is a genetic, and part of it is learned. So we can all learn how to be more optimistic, more happier, so we can bounce back quicker. It doesn't mean we don't get knocked down. It doesn't mean I don't cry. It doesn't mean, for the last 2 days, I've struggled with being motivated to get my work done. I have, but I have learned the strategies that I've learned unintentionally, but now intentionally, are things like always finding gratitude throughout the day. Gratitude is a big one for me. I don't write my 5 things I'm grateful for. I really don't. And there's always that you can bring gratitude into your life, and it does help boost you up. I just sit here sometimes and I'll see something outside and I'll think, oh, I find gratitude in nature. If I just see the clouds and the way the sky looks one day, you can ask my family, like, Mom, you're always pointing out the sky to us, because I'm in awe over the sky. Like I
think we've got that in common. Put me out in nature and I'm like, it doesn't matter what's going on around me, all the material things, the built things, like just put me out, and I'm like staring out the window looking at like a bird in a tree, and my husband's like, what are you staring at? I'm like, the bird. It's like, but there's birds everywhere. I don't know. It just, there's something about nature that even if you're looking at it from inside of a house, like looking out a window, out actually in the nature.
Excuse the mess, but I just think you see what I look at the black-eyed Susans right outside my window. I don't know if you could tell, but
yeah, it's a little hard with the way the light, the camera picks up the light, but I believe you.
But I just look out there. Yeah. So finding gratitude in just everyday little things is a huge mood booster. And it's also a way to keep you grounded in realizing, okay, yeah, life is hard, but you know what? There's beauty and good. There is more good and beauty in the world than ugly bad. The difference is the ugly bad are just louder. They're just louder. So we just have to get louder. That's all. So gratitude is the big one for me. Finding, and I talk about this all the time, finding the gifts in the mess. That's also a way of gratitude. So yes, when I get down, yes, when I struggle, yes, when I want to cry, yes, when I just feel just beaten down, I feel it, I cry, I get down, and then I ask myself, okay, what is this teaching me? What am I supposed to learn from this? What is some gift that this is giving me? And I usually discover something. I've grown as a mom in messy moments with my kids. I've grown as a daughter when I've had a hard time with my mom or my dad. I've grown, in all my relationships, and I just grow in business when I struggle or I have a failed launch. I'm like, okay, what was it that didn't work with that, and how could I learn from it? So finding gratitude in just everyday moments, but then finding gratitude in the lessons in the messy times for you as well, the sad. And then the final thing that I do, affirmations and angels. I use affirmations. My kids make fun of me that my house is one big affirmation. I have sayings. I have, a saying behind there, a saying up there. I have sayings all over my house. Just, you can look at a spot and you'll see a motivate, just one. They're not like plastered everywhere, but those little wood long things, I have one of those. Home is where love is. That's just sitting in my den. And the angels go along with that. I'm very spiritually connected to my angels and my spirit guides. It's getting deeper and deeper. God bless you. And I and I pull angel cards and I ask for guidance from them. I believe in the energy of the universe, and that we all have our angels around us. And that if we open ourselves to them, we will see the signs, we will notice them. Signs can be people in our path. It could be a bird, it could be numbers, whatever. So gratitude, affirmations, and angels are my 3 go-to.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. And as I'm here, I'm like, look here on my desk, and I'm like, okay, the nature, I've got a plant on my desk. You said gratitude. I have this gratitude journal that my friend just gave me for my birthday. And affirmations, there's this little card that I have.
My daughter
everything you said. I promise we didn't stage this. Everybody who's watching this, we didn't do it on purpose. I'm just looking around, like literally within arm's reach. And then I guess the other thing that keeps me sane is my tea, and I have that. So,
Kelly, that card you showed is it's a box, right? You have a box?
So it came in, it's just a,
yeah, my daughter gave me those.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, there's like a bunch of them, and you can kind of, and it has a little stand you can put it on. So I put it right next to my little desk calendar. So when I look at trying to figure out what day it is, and I'm confused, I don't know. I'm like, is it Wednesday? Is it Thursday? Or are we to Friday yet? I'm like, yeah, just calm down. There's my affirmation.
But yeah, and I take an affirmation usually once a year, an affirmation, and I put it as a recurring appointment across my Outlook. So that honestly, I don't even know what it is anymore. I mean, I read it every day and I still don't know what it is. Oh, it's going to open and ding. But I usually put something. One time I had, I will watch me. I heard Oprah say that once. I'm like, yes. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to see what, and I'll just put it. So every day, I mean, and I might not remember. I don't know why I don't remember. That's a little odd, but it does go into your subconscious just having it there. I don't know what it is, but there is no limit to the good I can experience. My capacity to earn, hold, and grow money expands day by day. So it was like a financial thing. But I mean, there's nothing bad can come of having an affirmation.
No, there's no side effect. Not at all.
My friends, they're like, well, you're just pretending. I'm like, no, you're looking at it all from a different, I'm not saying things I don't believe. I might not be experiencing them all, but I do believe it's all possible. So why not keep it in front of me and just see it all the time? It's amazing what can happen. Miracles can happen. So that's how I stay. And you had something we talked about, the Calm app. I love the Calm app.
Yeah. There's an app out there for like literally everything. So if you can find one that gives you something positive and doesn't just take your money and like a $2.99 a month subscription, and then you forget it's there and you never use it, and then you go back and look at your credit card and you're like, how did I spend this much money per year? I don't even remember downloading that. Like if you can find something, whether it's free or paid, that actually gives you value and that you want to use consistently, that's gold.
Yeah, I love the Daily Calm. I think her messages are wonderful. What amazes me most is how concise her messages are. It's like I strive for that. Like, can I communicate a really powerful point in 10 minutes or less? It's a goal of mine. It's a goal. So yeah, so I mean, that's it. That's gratitude, affirmations, angel cards.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. And then the other thing that I always like to ask, kind of related to like, how do you keep your mindset positive with everything going on, is like, how do you stay productive? How do you stay, on task? How, like those types of things, because productivity is something that I'm naturally pretty good at, which is one of the reasons that I support women with that. It'd be kind of weird if I wasn't good at it myself and I tried to help others with it. So I'm always curious, because I know I'm not perfect and I don't know everything. And I love hearing what works for individual people. What kind of like keeps you on the productive side, getting things done?
I put everything on my calendar. I block out my time because I can get distracted very easily. I have not been tested, but I'm pretty sure I have some kind of attention deficit. I'm pretty sure it's in my family, because I'll watch a family member. I'm like, oh my God, we all have it. I'm asking, laughing down.
You can all learn from.
I said it to my parents. One of my parents like, I don't. I'm like, if that's what you tell yourself every day, that's fine. I'm watching it. It's like I'm looking in a mirror and I know I have it. But putting like a block of time that says, member newsletter content. And I block off the time and I set a timer. And I also turn this off or I put it in another room. I have to. I don't do it all the time. I follow.
When distractions are a big thing, I mean, that's like, there are times where I definitely get distracted easily. And so I like, I mean, I naturally just like being in like a calm, quiet environment as an introvert, as a homebody. Like that's just kind of my space and where I'm comfortable with my energy anyway. And so other things, while I don't know that I wouldn't say I get easily distracted, but I don't appreciate distractions. Like if somebody comes over trying to have like an innocent, like happy, cheerful conversation, I'm like, but I'm doing something. Like when I'm focused, and it's not that it's easy to distract me. It's just that I don't appreciate it. And so I try to put those boundaries up so that I'm like, this is my space. This is what I'm doing right now. And like you said, blocking off time too. I think everybody I've ever interviewed in productivity and tea has said something about a calendar, blocking time, the techniques vary, or exactly what calendar you use changes. I know you mentioned Outlook, I think is what you're using.
No, you have to block your time off, or else you're never going to put a priority. I even put down like what I want to do for me, like, lunch. I put a lunch break on my calendar. This is a big one. You talk about boundaries. This is a big one. You can't prevent people from calling you, but you don't have to be available. I think we have to answer this. I don't answer it all the time. My kids call. They're adults. They're calling me I know that my daughter, if she calls me during the day, it's because she has free time, because she has a busy job. And I know I can't call her during the day. I'm busy too sometimes, and they don't care. They know. The other thing that I discovered for myself, I don't know if this will help anybody, because I can get, when you become very self-aware, your triggers of what can prevent you from being productive. Fear creeps in. If I'm like adding and growing my coaching program, that's a dare for me. And so what I discovered a couple of years ago was when calm meditation, like real calm, like elevator music is in the background, I get into a zone. I'm like, I can lose myself in my work. So I come down to my office, and I have a candle today. I don't always have a candle. I usually have an essential oil in my diffuser over there. And I put on calm meditation radio from Pandora. And it does something to my brain. I don't go all over the place, and I'm focused, and I could just lose the whole day. So that has helped me a lot be productive. And then because I'm not like you, Kelly, my strength is not systems and organization. I have just engaged with a coach who is organizing my entire business. She's reorganizing my G Suite, analyzing everything that I do to see what can be automated, everything. So, also I think when it comes to productivity, knowing your strengths and knowing what you're not really strong at doing, and knowing when to ask for that help so that you can be productive in what you're really good at and what your business needs, and hiring out what you don't do well, because that can stop you from being productive if you don't know that. So
yes, absolutely. I agree 100% in the aspect of business, and also in so many other ways. So for example, like in your home life, whether it's that you're not good at it, that you don't want to do it, or like, for example, when my husband and I moved to our new home almost a year ago at this point, one of the things that we said we were going to do after we moved and things, stopped being crazy with like living with boxes all around us, was to hire cleaners, because we are both such busy people. And it always felt like such a splurge, and like, well, we can do it ourselves. It's not like we can't clean the toilets, but who wants to do that? And if it allows us to do other things that actually bring us joy, that cause us less stress, we can enjoy our time together. I can have more time to work on D20 theory and pour into my community here. Why would I want to be cleaning toilets?
You can do it. It frees you up to feel more productive and to do revenue generating activity for your business, as well as enjoying the little bit of time that you might have together. Yes, that's a great investment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you can't do that most people can't do that for everything. We can't hire a personal chef and a shopper and a cleaner and like a driver. And, there's there's not a whole team of people around me that are doing all of those things, but we chose the one thing that we thought would make a difference. And, it was a good opportunity to reassess our budget because you're moving, you have a different mortgage payment, you got, different utilities, all this other fun stuff that comes with being a homeowner. And, and you have an opportunity as well, even if it's stressful and overwhelming and numbers are not my favorite thing to look at. It gave us an opportunity to have that conversation and to say like, well, what do we want to be different now? When we could have technically reassessed things at any point in the last house we lived in, it was kind of like this little place to jumpstart that conversation. And so one thing I like to encourage my clients to do is like, don't wait for that to happen. But if something does kind of like trigger that conversation or that desire for something to change, run with it. Like, don't just ignore it. Let it be that fuel that motivates you to look at the numbers when you don't want to think about money when you don't want to, or whatever the subject actually is, because when are you actually going to have more time to do it? When are you going to want to do it later? Probably never. It's probably never going to come up if you don't really prioritize it. So like take that little nugget of motivation and run with it.
Good message. Good message.
Yeah, that's something I found helpful for me as well. Cause it's like, when do I want to clean the toilets? When do I want to even talk about paying somebody to do it? Like there's really no good time for any of it. So just going with it when it makes sense.
No, it's a great example you used. Is one that a lot of people have a hard time pulling the trigger on for so many different reasons, but good for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very happy. The cleaners came today. So we were, I got a nice clean house around me that makes me feel more calm, productive. I'm not looking around at things that are dirty or cluttered, that make me think there's another to-do list that I have to take care of. When I know it's going to get done later on by somebody else, I see it. I mean, I don't like seeing, there's this thing over here that needs to be cleaned, but I know it's going to get taken care of and that I'm not going to have to be the one to do it unless it gets really bad. Because, there's a limit.
That's awesome.
So pivoting a little bit, I know that July is Social Wellness Month, which isn't something that's like super well popularized, whatever word I'm trying to say.
I think it's word. You can make our own words, Kelly.
Yeah. It's not something that everybody hears about. It always depends on what hashtags you follow and things like that.
I didn't know about it until you told me about it.
Yeah. So Social Wellness Month is something that I wanted to talk about a little bit because I know we're both so focused on building community. And also, when you're in any transition in life, especially I imagine like a midlife transition that revolves a lot around your family and changes with your family, which is a social relationship. It's really important to maintain like social well-being. Like when you've got your own goals, you've got things you want to do, you're trying to dare yourself to get out of your comfort zone. What your family, your friends, and people in your community like do around you and how you interact with them really impacts like your sense of well-being and your sense of confidence and what you can do. So I'm wondering kind of what are some ways that you have that you'd like to invest in your social wellness, however that may be.
So it's a great question. I like that. I like the phrase social wellness. When you told me about it, I even said like, what does that mean? Like, I didn't even realize it. I love it though. So there's a handful of things. I would say reading is and contrary to what everyone thinks, I read other things other than personal growth and development books, but I love them. I love to learn. I hated learning my whole life. I struggled in school. But I found the university of these books are my university that I wish I had. I wish there had been a class on Think and Grow Rich in college when I was there. I know other schools teach it. So reading is a big thing I do to take care of myself. It calms me. Especially when in the summer, when I want to read fiction, I can escape and go away somewhere in the land of make-believe. I really wish I hadn't read all the Harry Potter books and I could reread them again because they were such, for me, huge escape. So reading is something I do for myself. Especially in the summer, I give myself a lot of downtime, more downtime than I ever give myself. Like I'll take an afternoon, I'll stop at 3:00 and I'll just, watch TV or call a friend and say, go for a walk. But wait, you said something, there was something else that I have to think about what I do. My meditation is social wellness for me. My working out with my trainer twice a week, that's a non-negotiable to keep my social wellness. My tennis on Friday is a non-negotiable. That's a big one for me. There's something about my tennis on Friday, and in the summer it's a clinic. In the fall, winter, it's a match, like competitive.
Mhm.
And I got to tell you, yes, I like to win. I'm very competitive. I do. I'm not going to lie. However, playing tennis on Friday sets a whole tone for my weekend, win or loss, win or lose. It's the camaraderie with my tennis partner because I play doubles. It's seeing the team, and it just sets the tone for the weekend. Again, a lot of what I do is community. Another social wellness for me are our Zoom hangouts that we have with the members once a month.
Mhm.
We're not getting together in person as much as we used to. We're still going to do some in person for the local moms who live near me. And I know people are tired of the Zooms, but I know that a lot of the moms feel the same way, that when we're all tired at the end of the day, but when we do log on to that once a month, it re-energizes me. I can't, like, afterwards, I'm like all pumped up. Sam's ready to go to bed. I'm like, no, come on, I'm energized. It energizes me to be around the women, and some of those women are right here in the room. So tennis, meditation, reading, and just chilling.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are all great forms of self-care. I love the kind of the very specific and personal example that you gave of, like, the tennis matches. You're competing against other people. You have the trainer. There's everybody that's there at the match. Like, there are totally different relationships and ways that you can interact with people. But then the opposite of that, maybe not literally the opposite, but what I'm seeing is an alternative to that is kind of escaping the people in a way. And that when you're talking about like reading and being transported somewhere else, I want to call it antisocial wellness, just because it sounds funny, but like getting away from people and distancing yourself for a second, like, is actually good for being able to have, put your energy into conversations and relationships when you are there. Like, you're more present when you take time away occasionally. And it sounds a little bit like a little bit counterproductive in a way, that it's like, wait, if you want to, be better around people in some way, shouldn't you be around people more? And it's like, no, not really, not necessarily.
Right. No. And like, talking about a book, we just read a book. We have a book club. We just read a book called A Year by the Sea. It took place in Cape Cod. I told my husband, I'm going to Cape Cod. I'm either going with you or I'm going with the ladies. I said, I have to go to Cape Cod. Like, just her description of the area, I'm like, I have to be there. So, yeah.
And so that's kind of a jumping off point for doing something social as well. You were doing something, reading by yourself. I mean, part of a book club, so kind of together, but like not literally together. You're not reading it out loud like to a toddler. At least I assume not. But it brings you closer to other people who are reading the same book, which is really cool. It's a unique experience to do something separate and together at the same time.
Yep, love it. I love
Very
it.
cool.
I learned something.
Well, talking about like books and stuff, I love to ask book recommendations or podcast recommendations or like TED Talks on YouTube. Like, what has really inspired you, lit you up? What have you, loved doing lately, or like your favorite book ever? Like, whatever it is that you want to share. I'm not going to,
yep,
put you in this little hole that, it has to be specifically this or that. Like, what kind of content basically have you consumed that you think that other women here today on the call or watching the recording should know about? Like, what do they need in their lives?
Well, as far as like there's one particular book, it's only on an audio book that set my whole trajectory on the personal growth side. It was by Jim Rohn, ROHN, The Art of Exceptional Living. That audio book was recommended at one of the first meetings I ever went to for my direct sales business. And I've listened to it over a dozen times. As a matter of fact, I think I need to pull it out and listen to it again. It just resonated with me and it set me off. So The Art of Exceptional Living by Jim Rohn, I love. Brene Brown's TED Talk, her most viewed TED Talk on vulnerability. I could listen to Brene Brown's that and her commencement speech for TCU. I think she was Texas. Yeah, she was Texas. If you Google Brene Brown's vulnerability TED Talk and Brene Brown's commencement speech, those are my two go-to. I listen to them over and over again.
Yeah, anything she says, I'll just, send me all the links. I'll watch it, listen to anything.
Her commencement speech is good for us too. It's not just good for the college graduates. It's so much good reminders there about life and how to persevere and how to be resilient and keep moving. And then I guess those are my favorite fictional books, the Harry Potter books. Harry Potter, I mean, I love them. Oh my God, I love them. I just love Harry Potter. The Harry Potter weekends on TV, I'm there. It's on the TV while I'm cooking. I just, the brilliance of this woman's imagination just blows my mind. So I love the Harry Potter books. Those are, what am I reading now? I'm reading, well, we just finished a Year by the Sea. I thought it was a great book. It's a memoir kind of book.
Mm-hmm. But disclaimer, if you're not planning a vacation to Cape Cod, don't read it yet. You're going to want to go.
I just think any woman at this stage of life would see a part of her in this woman somewhere.
That's cool.
And I think so. And it's well written, quick read. It's only about this big. I don't know. I'm looking to see if I have it. I don't have it here. But yeah, so where is it? Nope, don't have it. But
oh, there we go. I see Trisha's got it for us.
There you go. Yeah, those are my go-tos. That's what started it all, and that's what I like listening to.
Yeah. And then as far as like social media, I don't know how much time, I mean, I know you have the Facebook group and all that. So like, I know you are creating and pouring yourself into that. I don't know how much you consume, because that's the other end of that. Do you have like either a Facebook group you're a part of or an Instagram account that you follow, like something that inspires you or that, always gives you the message that you need?
So it's interesting. It's not really, I don't follow anybody. It sounds weird, for inspiration, so to speak. I find it, I stumble on it, but to get my mind, when I just need to just do nothing, want to think about anything, I found it's at Kelladactyl, K-E, I'm going to put it in the chat. I stumbled upon her during the pandemic. She does all the dancing stuff.
Okay.
She was a Broadway performer. She was in the ensemble of Wicked, and she had a good Broadway career. And then the pandemic hit. Her dancing and well, apparently, I think her husband or partner, I don't know if they're married, is a big video guy. So, I mean, the editing, I just have the best time. I just watch her. I scroll through all of hers and just watch her to dance mindlessly. But if I had to choose, if there was a Facebook group that I would find for my own motivation, inspiration, I'd say it's Grown and Flown. Grown and Flown is amazing. And they've Grown and Flown for high school parents, Grown and Flown for parents, there's Grown and Flown parents, Grown and Flown has it for, your college age, your adult children. They have wonderful, really, really high-end blog writers, journal writers, and the blogs they post are wonderful. I don't necessarily engage in the community as much as I do read their blog posts, because it's in my space, and I'm always learning something from them. I think that's a great resource. If you're not at Moms Who Dare, then go ahead and follow Grown and Flown.
Yeah, exactly.
Following us both, I'm just saying we're different, but they're a great resource for parents.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Mm-hmm. So as we're wrapping things up, we're running out of time. Tell me a little bit more about the Facebook group, how people can, your Facebook group, not the other one. Let's see how we can connect with you. Where's a good place to reach you? And kind of what do you have coming up that women can join in and connect with you for?
Well, the best place to connect is to go to Facebook. In the search, put Moms Who Dare, and when it pops up and in parentheses, it says for the empty nest midlife woman. That's our group. Come join the group. That's the first thing you should do before you do anything. If you're not in the group, that's what you should do. The second way to connect, especially if you do live local to the Philadelphia suburban area, and I'm not saying you have to, you can travel for this. We are hosting our second annual Dare On Day, call it an experience, a retreat. Oh, and we say, after the ease of summer and before the chaos of fall and holidays lies Dare On Day, right there for you. It is a full day away from all the noise. And it's an amazing event. It's our second annual. And if you go to my website, jodisilverman.com, in the upper right-hand corner is a pink button, and it says Dare Day. And all the details are there. It's a combination of connection, personal growth. We have Dare counselors, I call them, which are amazing coaches in all different areas of life to guide us. We're gonna have quiet time just for yourself. We're gonna have an experience with horses if you want. And you can make a new friend. You never know what friendship will develop. So it's connection, growth, fun, play. And always in there is time. I am not a fan of events that schedule you out. You need time to chill. Go sit outside on a bench. We're going to have s'mores by the fire pit. I mean, it's a full day experience, and I'm really excited about that. So
yeah, that's very cool.
The second thing everybody should do is give themselves a gift. Talk about social wellness. There's nothing that beats spending focused time with a small group of like-minded women who you never would have met other than you all decided to say yes to an event. I say yes to events. There's something really special when you say yes to an event like a Dare Day. So give yourself that gift. It's in September. So the button's at jodisilverman.com.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I would recommend that for, especially if anybody who's here or who's watching the recording has been to one of D20 Theory's self-care camps. I can definitely see some overlap, and like, if you enjoyed one, you'll enjoy the other, and vice versa.
You don't have to be 40, you don't have to be 50, 60, 70 to come. I partner with Majette Reyes from Diva Girl, which you know that community well.
Yeah.
And last year we had 25 women. We're going to go up to 50 this year, and it's a big space and it's indoor, outdoor, but half the women were from the Diva Girl community, half the women were from the Moms Who Dare community. We had women from 35 to 65. It's special to have generations there. You learn from each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited about that. If you can't tell, I'm very excited.
Yeah. No, I'm excited just from hearing you being excited about it like that. That sounds like a really cool opportunity. And so I'll be sending that. If anybody, doesn't have anybody who registered but is not here or doesn't have that information, I'll send out the links to that as soon as we're done here. So you don't have to go clicking around, but I think you made it really easy. Like, literally go to the Facebook group, go to the website, click the pink button. You couldn't have made it easier. So, thank you so much, Jodi. Is there anything else that we missed? Anything that you wanted to make sure we touched on today?
No, I love that. I love your format of productivity and tea. I like how you combine the two together. It is something. Productivity is something a lot of women in my membership, a few of them I can name at least two that have always said they want more organization. They want to know how to be more productive, more systems. So this is really good. And I've watched your other interviews. They're wonderful. And I want to just thank the three amazing women, who came to sit with us today. I'm grateful for that because I know them from my community. And just thank you for all you do, Kelly. It's not, I live in this space too, and you live in this space, and I appreciate what you're creating and what you're doing. I really am grateful and thankful. Thank you for inviting me to be part of it.
Aw, thank you, Jodi. You're so sweet. And again, I also really appreciate everybody who showed up live here today. We, we would have had a conversation either way and enjoyed it, but it's always nice to have an audience. There's things going in the chat. We're able to share, Instagram handles and things like that. So it's really fun to connect and to have you all here. And so I want to say thank you to everybody who was here today, as part of Productivity and Tea. We do this a few times a year, so keep an eye out for the next one. If you enjoyed it today, we can definitely reconnect, in the future. And I yeah, I think that we pretty much covered it all. That's about
That's
it.
it. It's a
So
wrap.
cheers to everybody with your tea, your water, your juice, whatever you got tonight. Thank you for joining.